So if you're the kind of person that believes in everything happens for a reason, then keep watching the video. I know the title may sound completely irrelevant, but I'm actually going to be talking about how I learned about emotional intelligence, financial freedom, making vision boards, and mentorship in general. And the lady who introduced that to me is Saniya Khala. So she's not actually my Khala, but she feels like a Khala, so that's why I call her Saniya Khala, which therefore makes Elise my cousin. We're cousins. It's official. It's on the internet. So it was definitely like fate, like destiny that we meet. I leave England and that she finally finds us. It's a small world kind of story. And it starts with one day, my mother tells me that, oh, Shireen, Saniya auntie's coming over. And I'm like, who's Saniya auntie? And then she was like, oh, and I didn't really get an answer. I was like, okay, fine. I went, I put on like, shalwar kameez, like desi clothes, because like I wasn't gonna have, that awkward moment where that auntie looks at you and she just judged you like, oh, wow. Modern ladki. And to my surprise, I actually walk in and I see like this mixed race family, everyone's speaking English and like modern auntie, and I was like, whoa, I feel so safe, like I know no one's gonna be judging my Urdu. Like it was amazing. Anyway, so I sit down and we're talking, and I learned that her dad is my grandmother's nephew and they haven't met each other for 60 years. My grandma taught him how to swim and I was like, oh wow, okay, like I can't believe I never met this family. Then she makes this comment and she was like, I can't believe this is the first time we're meeting or something like that. And I was like, wait, what? This is the first time we're all meeting? Like the entire family is here, my entire family is here, and like we're all talking to each other as if like we've known each other for ages. Like it was so weird, but it was so what I'm used to, like when you meet someone, you meet them as if you've known them for ages. The love is complete and there's like no reservations, no like hang-ups and like the way you talk and stuff. And she worded it so beautifully. She's like, people who speak from the heart and there are people who speak from the outside. And it's so true. When you speak from the heart, you connect immediately as if like you've known each other forever. I was in shock. I was like, how come we've never met before? What had happened was that she was actually making a documentary on her family tree. Lots of her, family relatives were talking about someone called Khala. So she started looking like, who is Khala? She had photos of her. She knew that she had 3 daughters and stuff like this. And so she would be asking like Facebook and like searching, and she did all this like research. Eventually got my aunt's phone number, then sent her my mom's phone number here, and then turns out that Khala is my grandma. And turns out that for the last 2 years, we've actually been living 10 minutes away from each other in Dubai. So like everyone had reunited. It was really sweet. And it was so like, it was just very, very touching. From there stemmed a very, very beautiful relationship between me and Saniya Khala. So I was at a point in my life where I was generally depressed. I left my job and I couldn't work here. I left all my friends and I had no friends here. Couldn't drive here. I'm gonna keep bringing that up. Everything in my life had changed. And I was just like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't feel motivated to do anything. It sucks. And even though I had like all these projects and ideas in my mind, which for like years before I've been like, oh, if only I had time, I would do this. Theoretically now would be the perfect time to do it, but I just couldn't get myself to do any of it. Don't know if you can relate, but like during this quarantine time, I know friends who are like, I could be doing so much and I just feel so pathetic because I'm not actually doing anything. I'm not getting anything done. Slightly different scenario because there is a global pandemic going on. It is absolutely legitimate to feel scared and to feel like I can't get anything done. That's okay. Take the time. Take the time to just like accept that there's something very, very serious going on in the world right now. You do not need to be the most productive self that you've ever been right now. Like that don't put that pressure on yourself. Anyway, so I was at a point where there wasn't a global pandemic and I was still being useless. And bear in mind, this was in December and I've only recently started doing something. So it does take time. Give yourself the time. Anyway, going back. One day I'm like, okay, I'm gonna redo my room. I'm actually gonna make it mine. I'm gonna make effort to make it mine because I'm actually gonna be here for a long time. I used to live out of a suitcase and just live in whichever room, but then I finally said, okay, I want my own space. And I thought it was gonna be easy, like, oh, okay, just gonna make a little bit of planning, paint the walls. It's so simple, easy peasy. I thought it would take like 2 weeks max. It took me 2 months. And so like, Saniya Khala, she does like interior design and architecture. She writes children's books. She's superwoman. She does everything. I went to her for like advice and like, okay, how do I do this? What color palette? La 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 la. That day, I don't know, like, You know, she was asking me like, oh, so how's your room coming along? And I was like, you know, it's pathetic. It's just the most negative person ever. I was that guy, you know, from Wreck-It Ralph, you know, the green guy. Okay. I was literally that. I was like, it's pathetic. Like, I can't do this and I can't do that. I tried to paint the wall, but it didn't work. We had to call the painters to do it. And it's just like, so, I feel so pathetic because I'm an artist and I couldn't do this. I don't know how to hang things. I don't know when the furniture's coming. I can't drive here. And I literally kept picking up on all the things that I can't do. And that's why. I kept finding every excuse, and I was just such a negative bubble, and I kept radiating it. I'm sure she felt it, because then she brought up this whole like, you know, have you set up a plan? Do you have a vision board? And I was like, what the heck is that? And then she showed me hers, and she was like, you know, I put up here the places I want to go, the projects I want to do. I always look at it and I remind myself, okay, this is the end goal. These are some positive words that make me, you know, feel better. And I found this like really amazing, because when I speak to others and I give others advice, like I have friends who are like sad and depressed, and I'll talk to them and I'll give them all this positive energy, and I'll be like, do this and do that, and like write it and put it on your mirror so that you see it every day, la 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 la. But like when it comes to yourself, it's impossible to do. If I listened to my own advice, I'd be the happiest person on earth. But I didn't. And so when she was telling me this, I was like, oh, like there's actual things. Like I was just making up all this stuff when I was talking to my friends, but there's like an actual thing that you use. And then she started talking about like how she does mentorship, how she has mentors. She asked me like, is there anyone that you look up to? Like, do you want to be like someone? And I was like, no, not really. Like if there's ever been a role model as such, like obviously there's my mom and my dad. Like I love them and I want to be like them in the way they deal with people and the way they love people. But when it came to like the things I want to do in life, you know, I want to build an orphanage, I want to do TED Talks, I want to own a practice where I don't do like dentistry to make money, but rather to like just make people feel better about the smile they already have. You know, I don't want to be selling aesthetics and stuff, but it takes a lot of courage and it takes a lot of emotional intelligence to reach those points. To me, these were like really big dreams. Like I would have to live 9 lives in order to accomplish all of this stuff. And suddenly I looked at her and I was like, wait a minute, you've written children's books and you did interior design, architecture, you do mentorship, and on top of that you run some next business. I want to be you. And I asked her, I was like, my role model is you. Will you mentor me? and she said yes. And that was the beginning. We sat down at a coffee shop. She sat me down and she taught me things about financial freedom, you know, where you're not working for the money is working for you. And I was just like, oh, but I am so against money. Like I've never done anything for money. I am very like, I love giving free treatment. Like I love giving things for free. Like I'm not the money type. And she even asked me, she's like, well, why are you so scared of money? And I was like, I don't know. So it's not that I'm scared of money, I just don't like obsessing over it. But then she made this point and she's like, Shreen, who's gonna fund your dreams? And I was like, oh, that's why I don't dream them, so I don't have to fund them. Anyway, so then we started talking about passive streams of income. I never even knew about this stuff, and she's blowing my mind. And she's like, you can do this and you can do that and you can do this. We're like setting up diagrams, we're putting all my dreams in place and putting all the foundations down. And I was mind blown. I was like, wow, like, oh my God, I actually feel for once that all the things that I know I'm capable of, I can actually do it. And so now that we've talked about all the dreams and all the financial stuff, she talked about emotional intelligence and how to make sure that every time something goes wrong, you know what to do to pick yourself up. Like the worst thing is like when you have all this talent, you can make really good things, but you know, if you don't know how to control your emotions and how to understand them, then you're not gonna get anywhere, because sadness, depression, anxiety, these things knock a person down. It doesn't matter how smart you are, it doesn't matter how talented you are. If you can't control these things, then it's very difficult to get anywhere, because no road is easy. Things will beat you down and you need to know how to get out of it. And then we started talking about that, started drawing more diagrams, and I'm a very visual person, so it really helped me in my life in like different sections and being like, what makes you happy, what makes you and like how do we turn the into the happy. And it was really, really, really magical to have just come across someone who is now very openly and freely just telling me all this stuff. Like, I'm so grateful. Like, I'm just so thankful for all the events that happened that led to where I am right now. It's just such a blessing to finally feel like I understand myself. And I think what also helped is that she is also from my Pakistani background. Like, we have so many things in common. The way we think, the way we sort of brought up, the fact that we both have like very, very open minds. Like, it was just so perfect to have found someone so perfect. I can't even describe it. You know, if this is something that you're interested in, like, she's very approachable. I mean, you can shoot her a message on Instagram. I'll tag her in the comments below. And you can message her and ask her, because I know she's doing like online mentorship on the same things: financial freedom, emotional intelligence, vision boards, all of this stuff. And I would highly recommend it. I mean, especially if you come from like a similar background like mine, it's probably going to be the best decision you make in your life. So I'm going to end it there. Saniya, Khala, I know you're watching. So much love for you. Thank you for being in my life, and everyone else, take care. Bye.